Hi, welcome to Nina in the Kitchen, where today I want to show you what the heck you do with this thing. This is a beef tenderloin. It's a whole tenderloin, and the best way to buy this, as far as being frugal about it, is to buy it as a whole piece like this. But what do you do with it when you get home? So that's what we're covering today. Let's get started. The first thing I do, I don't know who's touched this or where it's been, is I wash this whole thing just with soap and water on a sponge, rinse it off, and I do that before I even cut into it. Now this is Angus, and I paid $11 a pound for this whole piece, whereas if I were to buy an Angus medallion of meat, a tenderloin of meat, it would cost upwards of $13 in my area if it's already been cleaned, etc. So the first thing I do is I just make a cut into the plastic bag and just tear that top off. Let all of this drain to the bottom. It's just an easier, less messy way to pull this baby out of here. So now all of that mess is at the bottom. At this point, my board's not big enough, but that's okay. At this point, I just take some paper towels and just dry this off. You have three parts to this particular cut. This part up here, which is thick, this is called the head. The whole rest of this is called the tenderloin. You can see the head a little better on this side. This is called the tenderloin. And then if you feel around on the sides, what you run into is something called the chain. It's right here. You can see it running right along there. And with your fingertips, at this point you don't need your knife, with your fingertips you just sort of differentiate the tenderloin from the chain. And see, very easy to just separate that. Do not throw the chain away, it's delicious. You can make, oh goodness, sausages. You can grind it and make incredible hamburger. We just throw it on the grill. So there's the chain. Separate this fat from the meat. There's some connective tissue in the back. Do not throw that away, it's very good. Then you have the head. That's this part up here. And with the head, I'll use my knife and just sort of see where the seam is. And just cut that right off. You see there's a little seam here, so I'll just cut that down so you can see it a little easier. And that's the head, and this is all tenderloin meat. It's delicious. Now, typically what they would do is take a big chunk of this for a Chateaubriand. So if you want that, you just cut it out of the thickest part of the middle. But what I'm going to do is cut this all into medallions. The way that you do that is I'm just going to cut this fat away. We have a little bit of fat. You can clean up the sides. There are some chains of fat. You can just clean that off. And you see, just pull it with your fingers. Very easy. Very easy, and look, there's no waste, there's no meat on that at all. So I'm just taking this residual fat off of here. And now we have to address the silver skin. This is silver skin, and there's no nutritional value. You can't digest it. It's just something that is on a muscle, connective tissue on a muscle. You want a blade that's flexible. And what you want to do is just get it under there and angle it at 45 degrees. Get as much of it as you can, and then you can just kind of wiggle it back and forth and take this off in strips. I'm going to thread this in here again so I get a bigger strip so I don't have to go back and do it again. But you see, just wiggle it, wiggle your knife, 45 degrees. And look at that, beautiful. There's no meat on that at all. We didn't lose anything. And you just do that until all of your silver skin has been taken off. As you move around this piece of meat, just look for any pieces of fat or silver skin that you need to get rid of. Take that off, and then when you flip it to the opposite side, what you see are these indentations. Looks like someone took a knife and just kind of dented this. This is where the ribs attached to this piece of meat. And I just go along and remove that. Now, when you get into the chain, you're going to find this long piece of silver skin, and it's kind of buried in here. So what I do is I take the two pieces off, and this is why this makes good sausage or hot dogs or something like that, or a good application for grinding it, is because there's a lot of fat here, and fat makes good sausage. So before you grind it, you do still want to get this tendon out of here. So what I do is I put it so that the tendon is down on the board. I keep my knife at 45, and then you just kind of wiggle it and you push on your knife and you get that tendon right out. There's a little bit of meat, but again, this is scrap meat, or I shouldn't say scrap, but it's meat that's going to be ground probably. This one little piece, this is called the tornado down at the end. I take that one piece and I push on it and I make a little steak like that. Then for the rest of it, I measure out my thumb. I like a nice thick cut because when this goes on the grill or in a grill pan, I like this to sear and cook up the sides, but the middle is medium rare. That's how I like it. And I just know that my thumb's length is the perfect length for us to do that. So again, I go with my thumb. That's about, oh goodness, that's about 5 centimeters. Then we can take this head and cut that as well. So the point is there, I just push it down under. So now out of a tenderloin, I have 3 really petite fillets. So that's the filet mignon, little fillets. And the rest of this is a nice steak that actually 2 of us will share one of these big guys because again, they're very thick cut. And I had, let's see, 10 good sized servings, these 3 petit mignon, filet mignon, and the chain. So as you can see, this is a great value. Out of 6 3/4 pounds, which is just under 3 kilos, I have 11 ounces of waste, which is 310 grams. If you have any questions about this, please comment below. I'll answer as best I can. Please follow me here on YouTube by subscribing. Hit the like button as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.